Now we are going to talk about the dead time of the GM tube. So what is this dead time? The dead time of a GM tube is the time for which the GM tube becomes insensitive to any incoming ionizing particle. So this is the time for which the GM tube does not detect the ionizing particle. As we say that GM tube is used to detect the number of particles which are entering, but there is a particular time for which the GM tube becomes insensitive. So what is this dead time? So this dead time is the time for which GM tube is insensitive to any incoming ionizing particle. Now if you have a GM tube, this is the cathode walls and this is the anode wire, central anode wire. Now when one ionizing particle enters the GM tube, there will be primary ionizations. Those primary ionizations will further cause secondary ionizations and Geiger discharge will occur due to the high strength of the electric field, and hence you will get a pulse. So these positive ions are accumulated around the anode wire and these positive ions slowly drift towards the cathode. So during this whole time, when this ionizing particle has entered, primary ionizations are formed which leads to Geiger discharge and hence one pulse is generated across the resistance R. During this whole time, if another ionizing particle enters the GM tube, then that particle, no matter how many primary ionizations this particle makes, so this ionizing particle will make its primary ionizations, but this particle will not be detected. As we know that in the case of GM tube, the pulse height remains the same no matter how many primary ionizations are occurring in the GM tube. So this ionizing particle makes its primary ionizations and Geiger discharge occurs and positive ions get accumulated across the anode wire and you get a pulse across the resistance R. So in this whole time, if another ionizing particle comes into the GM tube, that particle will not be detected because in the case of GM tube, the pulse height remains the same. For every incoming particle, pulse height remains the same. So if Geiger discharge is occurring already inside the GM tube, this particle will not be able to contribute to the Geiger discharge. But after certain time, these positive ions, when they are drifting towards the cathode, so when these positive ions are accumulated around the anode wire, the electric field reduces, which leads to the termination of the Geiger discharge. So electric field reduces and hence no particle is detected, no other ionizing particle gets detected in the GM tube. Now as these positive ions are slowly drifting towards the cathode, so when they are drifting, the electric field strength starts recovering. It starts increasing and eventually after some time the electric field strength will become maximum. So when these positive ions are moving away from the anode wire or they are moving towards the cathode walls, so as they are moving, the electric field increases. Due to this restoration of the electric field, any other incoming particle will start giving pulses across the resistance R. So as these positive ions are moving away from the anode, the electric field starts increasing, due to which any other incoming particle, if enters in that time, we start getting pulses. But those pulses will be of lesser amplitude as electric field has not yet reached its maximum value. As soon as all these positive ions reach the cathode, the electric field strength comes back to its original value and you will get a full height pulse across the resistance R for the incoming ionizing particle. So as you can see that immediately following the Geiger discharge, when the first Geiger discharge due to this incoming particle has occurred, the electric field reduces below the critical point. Electric field around this wire reduces due to the positive space charge, due to these positive ions. If another ionizing event occurs in this whole time, so when another ionizing particle enters means another ionizing event occurs in this whole time, a second pulse will not be observed because first pulse is still getting formed. So there is a formation of first pulse, there is a formation of Geiger discharge. So first pulse is getting formed in certain amount of time. Corresponding to the first ionizing particle, we have got first pulse. So during the formation of this pulse, if another incoming particle enters, that particle will not be detected. So a second pulse will not be observed because the electric field has decreased. Therefore, no avalanche will occur because of this second ionizing particle. And this is because the gas multiplication is prevented, means electric field reduces across the anode wire, means no gas multiplication can occur because of this second incoming particle. So gas multiplication is prevented for certain time, and that is called as dead time. Now as these positive ions are moving towards the cathode, if the field has not fully recovered, if the electric field has not fully recovered, means these positive ions are still moving towards the cathode, the electric field is increasing but it has not fully recovered yet. In that case, the discharge will be less intense. There will be a discharge that can occur due to this second ionizing particle. So another discharge can occur, but that will be of lesser amplitude because electric field has not reached its maximum value. So if the field has not fully recovered, the discharge will be less intense. The discharge will occur due to the second incoming particle, but it will be less intense than the original one. So you can see that this is the first initial full Geiger discharge. And after that, as the electric field is getting restored, after that you are getting pulses. So this is for the second ionizing particle, this is for third ionizing particle entering, this is for fourth ionizing particle, and so on. So you can see that if any particle enters in this time slot, if any other particle enters in this time period, that particle will not be detected because in this case we are having the first Geiger discharge which is corresponding to which is due to the first ionizing particle. So if in this time period another particle enters, that particle will be undetected, and this time is called as dead time. This time is called as dead time. And after that you start getting pulses. So as the electric field has reduced below the critical point, any other particle will not be detected due to this decrease in electric field. But as soon as the electric field is getting restored, you will start getting pulses. So initially you will start getting pulses of lesser height because electric field has not reached to its maximum value. So slowly the amplitude of the pulses will be increasing for every incoming particle. As you can see, this is for one particular particle, this is for another ionizing particle entering, this is for another ionizing particle entering. So for every ionizing particle entering, the pulse height will be increasing, and after some time you will see that the pulse height will reach its maximum value as that of this one. So this time period in which the amplitude of the Geiger discharge gets restored, this time is called as resolving time. So when the Geiger discharge has occurred, the field has not fully recovered, the discharge will be less intense than the original. The first pulses therefore are reduced in amplitude. So the initial pulses, they are reduced in the amplitude. When electric field gets fully restored, when the electric field gets fully restored means these positive ions, they have reached the cathode walls. The electric field gets fully restored. then giga discharge of full amplitude occurs. So giga discharge of full amplitude occurs, and the time from here to this second full giga discharge, this is the initial full giga discharge, and this is the just next giga full discharge. So this time between the two full giga discharges, this is called as resolving time. Now we are going to look at how we find the efficiency of a GM counter. Now let's suppose you have a GM tube and its dead time is equal to capital T. And let's suppose you have another GM tube of same kind, but this GM tube has 0 dead time. So this GM tube with 0 dead time, let's say it counts n pulses in 1 second, and the other GM tube which has T dead time, it counts small n pulses in 1 second. So obviously this GM tube, it counts more pulses in 1 second because it has a dead time of 0. But this GM tube has a dead time of T, means for T time it will be insensitive to any particle which is entering. So those particles will remain undetected. Therefore this GM tube will count less number of pulses in 1 second, whereas this GM tube will count more number of pulses in 1 second, means it will count every particle which is entering. So this is just an ideal situation. This cannot happen in real. So this GM tube, it counts every particle which is entering. But this GM tube is insensitive for T amount of time, means for T amount of time, the particles that are entering this GM tube will be undetected. So from this first point, let's say there are n counts in 1 second. So n counts are there in 1 second, means for one count how much time is taken. For counting one pulse, how much time is taken? That will be 1 divided by capital N. Similarly, in the case of second GM tube, if there are n counts, n pulses are counted in 1 second, means one count for the case of second GM tube. For this second GM tube, one count will take 1 by n seconds. So this is the time taken by the first GM tube with 0 dead time. Time taken by this tube to count one pulse, and this is the time taken by the second tube to count one pulse which has a dead time of capital T. So what will be dead time T? Dead time T will be nothing but equal to the difference in the time of one count for these two tubes. So this is the time that the first tube takes for counting one pulse, and this is the time taken by the another GM tube to count one pulse. So when you will subtract these two terms, you will get the dead time of this GM tube. So T will be equal to 1 by n. Obviously, as we have said that n will be greater than small n. The number of counts in 1 second for the first GM tube will be more than the second one. So n will be greater than small n, means 1 by n will be less than 1 by small n. So dead time will be nothing but 1 by n minus 1 by capital N. So this is just the difference of counting a single pulse. So this is the time taken to count a single pulse in the first tube, and this is the time taken by the second tube to count a single pulse. So the difference in them will give you the dead time of the second tube. So when you will solve it, you will get capital N. So you have to solve it by yourself. So capital N will come out to be n by 1 minus nt. Now what is the efficiency of a GM counter? Efficiency is nothing but the number of counts which are the number of pulses which are counted by this GM tube divided by total number of particles that have entered actually. Means the number of particles that this GM tube with T dead time, the number of particles that this GM tube has counted divided by the number of particles that actually entered this GM tube. So n will be greater than small n. So the number of particles entering the GM tube, they are capital N in some certain time, and in that amount of time small n pulses are obtained. Means this GM tube detects only small n number of ionizing particle and rest of the particles are undetected due to this dead time. So efficiency of this GM tube will be the number of particles detected divided by number of particles actually entered the GM tube. So you can substitute over here the expression of capital N, so that will be n divided by n 1 minus n into T. So efficiency comes out to be 1 minus n into capital T. So you can see that efficiency of the GM tube, the GM counter depends upon n and the dead time. So more is the dead time, you can see if more is the dead time, lesser will be the efficiency. So if the dead time of the GM tube is more, means for large amount of time this GM tube will be insensitive and hence the particles, more number of particles will be undetected. So efficiency of the GM tube will reduce in that case. So efficiency depends upon N and capital T.